Flock, Ravens, Flock, Rain Gang, how are we doing? Listen, guys, Antonio Brown, former Steelers star wide receiver, part of the famous Killer Bees, had some wild things to say, some insane things to say about Ravens wide receiver one, Zay Flowers. We're going to break that down here and more on this episode of Quiet Storm Sports. But first, before I roll the intro, like the video. Yes, sir. Welcome back to yet another episode of Quiet Storm Sports right here on the Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel, your number one source for daily Ravens content, where we break down all things Baltimore Ravens here. I am your host, Sutton Def. Welcome into the live. Yes, that's right. I am live right now. If you're part of the hashtag replay gang, shout out to you. You know that you didn't catch the live stream, but that's okay. You know, you're watching the replay. What I need you to do is comment down below, hashtag replay gang, and let me know what you thought about Antonio Brown making some of these insane statements about Ravens wide receiver Zay Flowers. And shout out to the replay gang again. Make sure to like the video. Also hype the video. We'd appreciate that. But live chat viewers, how are y'all doing? How are we doing? How are we doing? Sound off in the chat. I need to know. You know, slow off season times, right? It's mid-June. We're creeping up on the end of June here, getting ready to be July. We're going to pretty much have to go all of July. And then in August, you get training camp ramping up, and then, you know, preseason and all that stuff. So we're getting close. But in the waning stages of this offseason, there's never a dull moment. Ain't that what you love about the NFL? It's the league that never sleeps. Right. So today we're going to talk about, of course, Antonio Brown and what he said about Zay Flowers. Is that directly football related? No, it's narrative related. It's shock value. We're going to get into it. But we're also going to talk about Kyle Pitts, who got an extension today. And then also ESPN analyst Mina had some very interesting things to say that flew under the radar, you know, from the entire Ravens flock. Nobody really heard about this, but some wild things. Mina is normally on the Ravens side, but today she's going to have to step into my office. So again, before we dive deep into it, please be sure, guys, to like this video, subscribe as well. Also, consider becoming a part of our channel membership. Speaking of our channel members, we just had a giveaway not too long ago. The rewards for those giveaways will be going out very soon here, guys. And again, we appreciate everybody for participating last week. But yeah, live chat, where are we at? AB equals CTESPN. That's for sure. There's going to be a lot of CTESPN here in this episode of the show. I see Tila M in the chat. What's going on, Tila? Miss Moderator. Tila M85 is in here. We also have Afia in the house as well. What up, Afia? Another member in the chat. Glaucoma members in the chat. What's going on? Appreciate you guys for coming through as always. Real quick, another housekeeping thing. Whether you're part of the replay gang or you're watching live right now, I will be live later on Coach's channel. We're doing a Ravens roundup. Me, Coach, Jose from LBHT, maybe a few others, but make sure you come through to that after this. It's actually taking place right after this. Okay. But appreciate you guys for coming through. Make sure you come through to that as well. Stretch, what up? I see you in the chat. Okay. King Blaze, I see you. This morning's Lemon Olympics winner, by the way. King Blaze, shout out to you. If you watch Sudden Reactions, if you know, you know. Okay. But let's dive deep into this, man. Coach, I see you, brother. Let's dive deep into this, right? So, oh my gosh. Okay, let's take a look. So earlier today, there was a video that was released on X by somebody. I believe Sam Njoku, a friend of the show, he actually put it up here on Twitter. It was his screen recording of Antonio Brown on an Instagram live or TikTok live, something like that. And he is just absolutely ripping into Zay Flowers, relentlessly denigrating him in every single sentence. Now, why? What's the motivation behind this? I'm really not sure. But let's first take a listen together.
If you say Zay Flowers with my name, you're a loser. Zay Flowers beating up his girl and they just let it slide. Zay Flowers fumbled too much. He can't hold water. He sucks. Never mention me with that coward. He's not me, and I'm being honest. Don't trigger me. I really have an aggressive problem.
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
Flowers.
Yeah.
That boy the reason Lamar Jackson can't win. Zay Flowers is the reason Lamar Jackson can't win. Ask any one of my quarterbacks, I'm the reason they win.
Sheesh. All right, chat. You heard it there. I'll replay it here in just a few minutes, but initial reactions from the live chat. I want to know. I'm going to let you know what I think about it here first and foremost. Let me put it like this, chat. After Mr. Antonio Brown leaves this earth, God forbid, but after it does happen, society will break new grounds in modern medicine after studying that man's brain. And them just the facts. Once they are able to pop open his cranium, remove that brain, and start performing all sorts of scientific testing on it, yeah, it's going to be revolutionary. It's going to be revolutionary. Now, that aside, a couple things, because I want to go back through that video again and go through and count each time that he told a truth and each time that he told a lie, because I think that's important, because not everything in there was just AB just talking out of the side of his neck. It wasn't. It wasn't. Oh, here comes the Zay hate from Sutton. No, not really. Not really. I think that the only reason, as a matter of fact, that this video, and I saw online, triggered a lot of Ravens fans is because there's a little truth to it. The truth can be triggering. It often is. Now, like I said, did he tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth? No. So let's go back and take another listen here and go through each time he told the truth and each time he told a lie. Let's take another listen.
Zay Flowers with my name, you're a loser.
So he says that we're not going to count this part. If you say Zay Flowers with my name, you're a loser. Okay, Antonio Brown. What else do you have to say?
Zay Flowers beating up his girl and they just let it slide. Zay Flowers fumbled too much. He can't hold water.
Zay Flowers fumbles too much. He can't hold water. Okay, the last part was a little bit hurtful. He didn't have to go that far, right? But that's score number one for the truth department, and I'm writing them down. I'm writing them down. I hope you're following along here, whether you're watching live or the replay. That is the truth. Zay Flowers does fumble too much. You know, that's always been my biggest gripe with Zay Flowers. Y'all know that, the ones who faithfully watch our show here. If you are new, now you know. My biggest problem with Zay Flowers is that he is liable to put that ball on the ground and turn it over. So, you know, if that's something that Zay Flowers can clean up going into this next part of his career with his new offensive coordinator, then so be it. Perfect. As a matter of fact, perfect. That would be lovely. Splendid, even. But he's got to do that because right now, AB is right about that. He fumbles too much. And sometimes in the biggest moments, you guys might say, oh, he's the only one trying to do something, make something happen. Okay, but you can't shoot yourself in the foot in the process. You can't. You got to hold on to that ball. You know, I get scared every single time I see Zay Flowers catch a ball in the open field, right? And to get away from one or two guys that are ahead of him, he's going east and west and juking back and forth. Meanwhile, you got a linebacker tracking him down from the backside, ready to just throw that club in there and pop that ball out. We've seen it happen multiple times. So again, that was a fact from Antonio Brown. He was not lying about that. He was not lying about that. Okay? Just saying. Just saying. What up, Chris? Let's see. Let's see. Let's keep going here. Let's see if he tells any more truths.
He sucks.
All right, Zay Flowers sucks is Antonio Brown's second claim. That, the lie detector determined, is a lie. Okay? That is a lie. Zay Flowers does not indeed suck. He does not suck at all, as a matter of fact. We're talking about a, multiple-time Pro Bowl wide receiver, multiple times getting over 1,000 yards in a season. Is he the perfect receiver? No. Do I think that he is a bona fide wide receiver one? No. But to say that he sucks, that is extremely hyperbolic for Antonio Brown to say. I get it. He's in like this fit of rage. This is probably like one of those manic moments from Antonio Brown that I'm sure he has quite often. I don't know who allows him to go live on their platforms because, again, it's just not good press. Not good press. But yeah, that was a lie. Zay Flowers absolutely does not suck. Let's keep listening, though.
Never mention me with that coward.
Zay Flowers is a coward? No, that's a lie. That's a lie. Because while I do fault Zay Flowers for sometimes in big moments effing up, you can never question his heart. You can never question Zay Flowers' heart. You just can't. Dude's got heart. Simple as that. So, AB, you're losing me here.
He's not me, and I'm being honest.
He's definitely not you. Now, that is a truth. Zay Flowers is definitely not Antonio Brown. You were being honest about that. You were being honest about that. Antonio Brown is arguably like a top 10 wide receiver of all time, in my opinion. He's up there. He's up there. That dude was dominant when he was with Ben Roethlisberger and Le'Veon Bell. So that was true. Yeah, I mean, Zay Flowers is nowhere near Antonio Brown, but let's keep listening.
Don't trigger me. I really have an aggressive problem.
Yeah, and see, this is where I knew that his brain will be a gift to society. Because what are we talking about? What are we talking about? What are we talking about there? Now, like I said, we're counting up the truths and the lies here. So far, I got 2 truths. I got 2 lies. It's 2-2. Let's continue.
Last name Flowers. That boy the reason Lamar Jackson can't win. Zay Flowers is the reason Lamar Jackson can't win.
AB, listen, AB, look, man, big dog. Look. I cannot call this a truth. It's not a truth. Is there some truth to it? Yes. But I cannot call this an absolute truth. The reason why I say there is some truth to it is because I've always been of the school of thought that Lamar, his wide receiver one, needs to be somebody who's closer to like an Isaiah Likely than a Zay Flowers, right? Bigger body, bigger catch radius, that sort of thing. Red zone threat, that sort of thing. And the fact that Lamar Jackson doesn't have that, and in certain moments, Zay Flowers kind of gets like schemed out in a way. You know, like I said, when you get down to the red zone, right? When you just need a slant over the middle on 4th and short, right? And you need somebody who's going to wall off a defender and be that possession receiver. Zay's not really that. Somebody who can, contested catch, guy draped all over him. Doesn't matter. He's not really that. Now, to go as far as to say that he's the sole reason why Lamar Jackson can't win a Super Bowl, that's asinine. That is asinine. And I really don't understand why Antonio Brown was so apoplectic in this rant here. He's so visibly upset and angry. And again, I don't know if it's just like more of like a manic episode or if this is something that, maybe there's something going on between him and Zay. But it sounds crazy to me. He sounds crazy. Let's just be real about that. But I do have to call that a lie. He said that Zay Flowers is the reason why Lamar Jackson can't win. That's a lie. There's so many other factors that go into that. The offensive line, the defense not forcing turnovers in the playoffs, right? The defense, Lamar Jackson's defense in the playoffs throughout his entire career has forced one turnover. One turnover. In Lamar Jackson playoff games, the defense has forced one turnover. And that's in 8 playoff games. One turnover. Meanwhile, Jalen Hurts, his defenses in his playoff campaigns have forced him a whopping 17 turnovers. 17 turnovers. So no, Antonio Brown, you can miss me with Zay Flowers being the sole reason as to why Lamar Jackson can't win. Is he one of the reasons? I would say he's a very small microcosm, right? Because I believe you can win a Super Bowl with Zay Flowers being your wide receiver 1 because of what the Ravens have as their main punch, which is the run game. You know, I could see if the Ravens were fully pass reliant, then I'd be like, yeah, I mean, we're probably not going to get as far as we want to with 5 touchdowns and 3 fumbles, or 5 touchdowns and 4 fumbles on the season, something like that. We're probably not getting by with that being our wide receiver 1. That's what I would say. Okay, but that is a lie. So far, I got 2 truths and 3 lies. I think this was about the end of it. I think he might have said one more thing.
Ask any one of my quarterbacks. I'm the reason they win.
All right. Here's another lie. We're up to 4 lies now. Antonio Brown makes the claim that you can ask any one of his quarterbacks. They're going to say that he is the reason, Antonio Brown is the reason that they win. I guarantee you, though, if you were to ask Tom Brady or, more importantly, Ben Roethlisberger, both of them would refute those claims. Both of them, especially Tom Brady. Big Ben might be like, yeah, I mean, you know, he was a big part, but, you know, if it weren't for me, like extending so many plays like I used to do, if it weren't for Le'Veon Bell having that patience in the backfield, picking up first downs, making big explosive plays and things like, you know, there were a lot of other factors. A lot of other factors. So yeah, I think that they would disagree with that. So that's the end of the video there. Yeah, that's the end of the video there. So I have 2 truths and 4 lies. Okay, 2 truths and 4 lies. And the only 2 truths that Antonio Brown told in this rant here, where he says Zay Flowers sucks and all these other crazy things. Only 2 truths I have were that 1, Zay Flowers fumbles too much. That I can agree with. He's got to clean that up. Let's just call a spade a spade. And 2, that Zay Flowers is not Antonio Brown. Like, you can't even put them in the same sentence. That I agree with. That is also true. But he told a whole bunch of other lies, right? Those 2 truths were just kind of sandwiched in between a bunch of lies here. And again, I don't understand exactly why Antonio Brown was so angry. You ever seen that Boondocks episode? It's like, I wonder what they did to make that nigga that mad. What did they do to make that? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, because it's just, why do you have this much hate in your heart, brother? A lot of hate in your heart. What does Zay Flowers do to you? If I remember correctly, weren't they like hanging out at some point? Weren't they like training together at some point? Chat, let me know if I'm accurate on that. Because I thought at some point you had Lamar Jackson, Zay Flowers, and Antonio Brown in Florida training together. Maybe I'm getting it mistaken for Hollywood, maybe a couple of years prior. Because, you know, Hollywood Brown and Antonio Brown are cousins. But man, I don't understand. And can you imagine, like, what the, I'd pay good money to see what the text thread between Lamar Jackson and Zay Flowers looked like today. Because I don't know. I know they had to have talked about it. I know they had to have talked about it at some point. Maybe they didn't. I don't know. But what I will say is this, though. If you're Zay Flowers, this is like prime time bulletin board material. Prime time. Because Antonio Brown, what he says, while it may not carry a whole lot of weight in terms of like credibility, it's going to go viral. And this video has gone viral. And a lot of people have seen this and this rant that Antonio Brown went on. And I think that Zay Flowers will internalize that and use it again as bulletin board material going into this upcoming season, as he should. As he should. As he should. Let me read through some of you guys' comments here. Oh man, you guys are going crazy in the comments. Crazy. Killer Cam says, is Bateman the reason Lamar doesn't win? Killer Cam, we're not talking about Bateman today. If you want to go in the book, you can. I don't know if you are already, but you can definitely go in the book. Listen, guys, over 90 people watching live right now. Shout out to y'all. Please be sure to like this video. Subscribe if you're new. Replay gang, shout out to you. Make sure you hype the video too. Appreciate that. Let me see. If Zay is the reason, so is Bateman and Andrew. Why does Rashad Bateman's name keep coming up? I'm confused, chat. I'm confused. Why are we talking about Rashad Bateman on this beautiful Tuesday, June 23rd in the offseason? Why are we talking about Rashad Bateman? Then nobody say nothing about Bateman. Nobody. Two truths, four lies, by my count. Two truths, four lies. Afia says ain't nothing going on with AB. He's just spiraling as usual. I can see that. I mean, that I can see that. Where's his caretaker and why did they allow him to go live? Tila, I'm saying, why does the platform, Instagram, TikTok, they should ban his account from going live with all of the crazy stuff he has said over the years on the internet? You know, I get it. Freedom of speech is a thing, but like these corporations that are like publicly traded, those shareholders, they don't want to hear, you know, Instagram, AB, you know, ranting on Instagram. Now people are boycotting Instagram because he called somebody a this or that. And you know what I mean? It's not good for them. Voids gifted the Uncle Alert 440 jewels. Appreciate that, Void. Says Uncle Alert. I love that. That is hilarious. That is hilarious. AB is definitely Unc. Or were you referring to me? I'm not sure. I think it's because people compare him and Zay and it ain't like it. And he ain't like it. Maybe. I don't know why people would compare him and Zay Flowers, though. That makes zero sense to me. Like, where are their games even similar? Where are their games even similar? AB was a one of a kind. One of a kind. You talk about yards after the catch. See, here's where AB is like light years ahead of Zay Flowers. Like light years ahead. I think that, and 33 Lady Ram with the super chat donation. Get to that in 1 second. When it comes to yards after the catch, AB just had this kind of like this will, like he was gonna make one move and he was gonna get upfield, and then maybe once he needed to make another move, he was gonna make that cut real quick and he was gonna get upfield. He didn't do all the east to west. He focused on the north, getting north, and that's what makes a great wide receiver who can run after the catch, right? If you know how to get north as efficiently as guys like AB did, as efficiently as guys like D-Hop did in his prime, you know, and some other guys too, Jamar Chase, you know what I mean? You will be a dangerous wide receiver in this league. AJ Brown's another guy who does it. Super chat donation. This one's coming from 33 Lady Ram. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat donation. Appreciate that so much. She says, Sutton, I may not agree with you about our guy Bateman, but I love your optimism and loyalty. Thank you so much, Lady Ram. I appreciate that. You know, I try to stay optimistic about the team. A lot of people don't like when I get a little negative, but you know, I got to keep it real. I got to keep it real with y'all. That's just what I got to do. I got to keep it real. But I appreciate your support, your donation, and your viewership. 33 Lady Ram. We truly do. All right. Let me take a couple more comments here. I kind of fell behind on the comments, admittedly. Let me go back to some more recent ones. Zay is still early in his NFL career, though. I mean, he's won in year 4. I mean, he's a vet now. It ain't early. To me, this is a make or break year for Zay Flowers. It's a make or break year. And maybe that's a hot take because, you know, he's coming off of back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons, you know, had a Pro Bowl appearance or two, I think. Can't quite remember. So I get it. But he's going to be up for a contract. here soon. And I just think that if we see the same Zay Flowers that, can get to 1,000 yards with a third of the targets, but still can't get to that 8 to 10 touchdown range, right? Still can't be that game changing, like X factor type of player on a more consistent basis. Still can't be that guy who, if you start as your wide receiver 1 in fantasy, you are really confident in winning your week that week. Still can't be that guy that, you're going to bet on an anytime touchdown. Again, getting back to the touchdowns again, you guys know how I feel. I just think that he's going to have to do more in order for the Ravens to justify giving him market resetting money. Because even if he doesn't get market resetting money, like number one, like past JSN and whoever else, maybe he just got paid more recently. I think JSN's the most recent, and he's still number one right now. Even if he gets paid like top 5 money, that's still going to be a lot. That's going to be a big ask for the Ravens. So I do think it's a make or break year for him. It is. And also you got to consider the fact they just drafted 2 wide receivers, 2 of them. If Lamar takes a liking to one, God forbid, both of those guys, and Zay Flowers has a down season just relative to last year, maybe he doesn't get 1,000 yards, or maybe he just barely scrapes by, gets it, and still has like the same amount of touchdowns, but then maybe like an Elijah Surratt and or a Jacoby Lane, they show off. Listen, man, business is business. Days might be numbered for Zay. I definitely think it's a make or break year. And that's no slight towards Zay. I just think it's a make or break year with where the Ravens are right now. Dylan said, I'm going to tell AB Sutton said Nelson Aguilar is better than him. That'd be hilarious. Please do. Please do. Nitro has said Zay having a better start to his career than AB. Maybe someone in chat made that comparison. I mean, sure. You know what I mean? Sure. There's a lot of guys who it took a couple of years for them to really come into their own in this league, but they ended up being phenomenal players once they developed, So I don't think that's a really good comparison. I don't think that's a good way to put it. Let me see. AB is a top 5 route runner of all time. Zay nowhere near his route running. I like Zay's route running. Actually. He creates some pretty good separation, but AB is just much better at the catch point, more physical. You know what I mean? I do think that AB pound for pound is a better route runner, but I'm definitely can't sleep on Zay Flowers route running for sure. Smitty says the low key sounds like you're on AB side. Smitty, I don't know if you just joined, but we just broke it down. I broke down every truth and every lie that Antonio Brown said in this video here. I counted, again, by my count, 2 truths, 4 lies. Only 2 truths being 1, Zay Flowers fumbles a lot. I agree with AB on that. And 2, Zay Flowers is not AB. Can't compare the 2. Whereas Alex, he's the only one that can curtail your BS. Alex ain't stopping this, chat. He's not stopping this. I'll ask him on Thursday, though. I'll ask him on Thursday. 3 truths, says Oslo. I didn't count 3. Yeah. Crazy stuff, though. This y'all boy AB. Man. But listen. I got to move on, chat. We got to get into some other big news that came out today, right? Let me go ahead and pull this up on screen for us here. And you might ask how this impacts the Ravens. It does a little bit because we made an episode not too long ago, right, about this particular player and if they could potentially end up joining the Ravens. All right. So let's take a look at this. And I know you guys are glad I'm done talking about Zay Flowers, right? But you guys know I had to get in here and talk to y'all about my boy. I had to talk about my boy. Anywho, Kyle Pitts was extended by the Atlanta Falcons today. Let me go ahead and read through this. ESPN sources say tight end Kyle Pitts and the Atlanta Falcons reached agreement today on a 3-year, $54 million contract that includes $36 million fully guaranteed. It is the largest 3-year contract for a tight end in NFL history. The largest 3-year contract for a tight end in NFL history. Now, let me just say this. I think that this was a bad deal. I think that this was a bad deal for the Atlanta Falcons. I thought that they were going to go the route of paying Drake London and then Bijan Robinson and then cutting ties from Kyle Pitts. But it seems that after one, I guess you could say, sort of dominant season, definitely his best season by a long shot last year, they think that, Kyle Pitts is one of the best tight ends in the league. And maybe he is, maybe he isn't. Like in that top 3, top 5 range. But the Falcons are going all in on him. They're going all in on him. And I wanted to read through this really quick. Oops, let me see here. Highest paid tight ends per year average. Okay. Highest paid tight ends in per year average. And this was tweeted by Adam Schefter here. Now, the update is you have George Kittle making $19.1 million a year. Trey McBride making $19 million a year. Kyle Pitts, the new guy here, making $18 million per year. Then after that is former Raven Isaiah Likely making $13.3 million per year. And then Mark Andrews making $13 million. Okay. So Kyle Pitts has entered that atmosphere of highest paid guys at his position group, which means that he's going to have to give the Falcons a really good return on their investment for this contract. Because again, guys, they're also going to have to sign Bijan Robinson. And Bijan Robinson, I don't know what he's going to get, but I guarantee you it's going to be more than what Kyle Pitts got. And as a matter of fact, let me actually look up the running backs contracts and see who is making the most. Where are they at right now? The running backs. Let me see. Where are they at? Okay. Running backs, contracts, NFL. My normal site is not working. That's crazy, chat, isn't it? But we got to back up. Let me see. Running back contracts. And this is over the cap. Average per year on the high end, you have Saquon Barkley getting $20 million a year. CMC getting 19. Devon Achane getting 16. Derrick Henry getting $15 million a year. And then Breece Hall getting $14.5 a year. Interesting. I'm thinking Bijan has to reset the market. Because if you ask me right now, Bijan Robinson is better than all of those running backs. Bijan Robinson is better than Saquon Barkley. Bijan Robinson is better than Christian McCaffrey. Bijan Robinson is better than Devon Achane. Bijan Robinson is better than Derrick Henry. Yes, I know. I get it. May ruffle some feathers, but I get it. But I think pound for pound, I think that he's better. I think he's the best running back in the league, bar none. He can do it all. And he's still super young. Lots of upside. Kind of reminds me of a younger Saquon Barkley, to be honest with you. Nothing but a younger Saquon Barkley, Bijan Robinson. So yeah, they're gonna have to pay him big money as well. Now, luckily, like we're seeing here, you don't have to pay running backs like bank breaking money, because everybody knows running backs have a shorter shelf life when they get into their prime. You got like 2, maybe 3 years tops to strike while the iron's hot. And that's where Derrick Henry's kind of an anomaly, because he's getting to his mid-30s soon and he's still doing it. But yeah, again, I just think that they're going to be tied up cap-wise. I mean, quarterback situation right now for Atlanta, you're looking at Michael Penix Jr. and Tua Tagovailoa, right? They're competing for the starting job. Tua on that. I mean, is Tua on their books? I wonder if Tua's on their books. Or did the what is it called? Or did the Dolphins keep that contract? Let me look that up. Is Tua Tagovailoa on the Dolphins books. Okay. They're still carrying a massive dead cap hit. Okay. Because of a previous contract extension, Miami is taking a record-setting NFL dead cap hit of $99.2 million. Wow. Let me see. I need to see something. Have the Falcons taken on any of that money, I wonder? Almost zero financial risk. So yeah, I mean, they're getting basically the Dolphins foot the bill. The Dolphins completely foot the bill for Tua Tagovailoa. And the Falcons have two cheap quarterbacks, Michael Penix Jr. and Tua Tagovailoa. So I guess they see something in one of those guys where they're like, okay, one of these guys is going to be cheap for us for the next few years. So we're just going to hope one of them emerges as a clear, legitimate QB1 for this team and hope everything else falls into place. That's probably their plan. Has to be. Glaucoma says, you thought Pitts wasn't going to get top 5 money? LOL, he was going to get paid regardless. I think he was going to get paid, but I mean, Mark Andrews is making top 5 money. Okay. That tells me everything I need to know. Khalil Bowling says the Falcons are playing for a good draft pick. Man, I mean, it's a lot of money going out of the door this year on 2 newly signed players in Kyle Pitts and Drake London just to be playing for a good draft pick this year. I think that they're trying to compete. Got to. T. Collins says, replay gang. What's going on, brother? Yes, sir. Giving a shout out to the replay gang. If you're in your car listening after the fact, if you are, just waking up in the morning, maybe it's the next day you're listening to this. Maybe you're on, maybe you're doing your workout right now. Maybe you're cooking dinner. Maybe you're taking care of the kids, walking the dog, whatever you're doing, wherever you might be listening. Shout out to you. Thank you for coming through. Please be sure to leave a like on this video. That's right. A thumbs up here goes a very, very long way for our channel. So if you could just take a second and tackle that like button. All right. I can't go forever today, guys, because I do have a stream to do on the Ravens Roundup on Coach's channel here soon. So make sure after this, you do come over there. It starts at 6:15. If you're watching the live, if you're part of the replay gang, make sure you check out that video after you're done checking out this one. Should be a good time. Should be a good conversation over there. All right, let's go ahead and move on here. Let me see what else we got. All right, so I found this very, very interesting. It honestly kind of pissed me off a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, chat. It kind of pissed me off. Mina, who is normally a supporter of the Ravens, and I still think that she is. She's a pretty good analyst, I guess you could say. But she has some things to say when it came to the AFC North and what teams she think is more likely to win a Super Bowl this year. And she was asked about who's more likely to win a Super Bowl this year between the Baltimore Ravens and the Cincinnati Bengals. Let's hear what Mina had to say.
I'm going to do this. More likely to win the Super Bowl, Bengals or Ravens?
Oh, my God. This is tough. I think they're pretty even. I think that
they're pretty even.
I'll go with the Bengals just because there's so much change in Baltimore, like entirely new coaching staff, entirely new offense, new offensive coordinator. I think that the Ravens have higher upside as a more balanced team, but I think the Bengals, there's a little bit more stability, and I like the things they did on defense. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Ravens are better. So
Okay, so look, she tries to clean it up there at the end. Oh, I wouldn't be surprised if the Ravens were better. But since we're talking about truths and lies being told here on this episode of the show, right? Mina Kimes, why are you lying? Why are you lying? Why are you lying to America on the humongous platform that is ESPN? Why are you lying to the people, the good people who watch the Entertainment Sports Network? I don't understand that. Void, appreciate the happy poop. 10 jewels. Appreciate that, brother. She said something that really caught my attention. Mina said here that, number one, she just doesn't like you with all of the coaching changes. She's worried about that. So again, I ask, like I have been asking on this channel for the past couple of weeks, why does the national media just automatically assume that Harbaugh gone equals bad for the Ravens? Like, why is that a thing? You talk about how John Harbaugh is such a great coach because he's this great culture builder, right? If John Harbaugh spent 18 years building a culture of stability, because under John Harbaugh, the Ravens were, for the most part, always competitive. For the most part, outside of like maybe 3 seasons, maybe 4 seasons out of 18, that's not bad. So if he built this culture of stability, why do you think as soon as he walks out of the door, all of that's just going to crumble? No, that's not how this works. That's not how this works. That's not how this works. And I also want to bring up how John Harbaugh just has a great PR team, a fabulous public relations squad. He just does. Because when you think about it, John Harbaugh, and I heard somebody say this, and it made a lot of sense. John Harbaugh ain't nothing but Mike McCarthy, except Harbaugh got lucky with a future Hall of Fame quarterback in 2018. That's the only difference. Harbaugh's got 1 Super Bowl. McCarthy's got 1 Super Bowl. Outside of that, they've fallen short numerous times. And had it not been for Lamar Jackson being drafted in 2017, John Harbaugh would have been fired in 2017. And here in 2026, we'd probably be having a much different discussion about him. Because he might have by now bounced around to maybe another team or 2. Right? So again, I just don't see how John Harbaugh has this amazing PR. I mean, John Harbaugh's PR team, it actually only has 1 employee. And that's Lamar Jackson. But that employee no longer works for him. So now it's going to have to be Jackson Dart to bail him out. And we're going to see. But again, guys, I just don't understand where the narrative of Harbaugh departing equals bad for the Ravens. I don't get that. I don't get that. That's number 1. Number 2 is this. Mina Kimes also chose to make the claim that, what'd you say, maybe the Ravens have the higher upside and are more exciting, something like that. But she said the Bengals have more stability. Mina Kimes, step into my office. Step into my office, please. Because what is your idea of stability when it comes to an NFL team? Like, what attributes, what do they need to be able to do in order to call them a stable team? A team that basically has a very high floor. That's what that means. I would love to know Mina Kimes' idea on that. Now, my idea, which I think is an idea that makes a ton of sense, stability is when you can do 2 things. 1, you can run the football effectively. And 2, you can stop the run effectively. Basically, what am I saying here? If you can control the trenches, the floor for your team will be raised exponentially. And that's what creates stability. That is what creates stability for an NFL team. Now, I want to point out to you guys, because there is data to prove to directly prove that Mina Kimes is talking out of left field here. Last season, that's right, the season that the Ravens went 8-9. The Ravens had the second ranked rushing offense at 156.6 yards per game. So we're talking about, again, stability, things that when you Super Bowls, like we see in all these Super Bowls, who can run the football, who can stop the run? Basically, who can dominate the trenches? Who's the more stable team? The Ravens had the second ranked rushing offense last year on a down year. On a down year. Now, in contrast to that, the Cincinnati Bengals ranked 29th in rushing yards, or 29th in rushing offense at only 93.6 yards a game. 29th in rushing offense. So again, Mina Kimes, how stable does that sound? The 29th ranked rushing offense in the league, how stable does that sound? I get it. Oh, Joe Burrow can throw bombs to Jamar Chase and T. Higgins all day. We've seen it. They'll score 35, their opponent scores 36, and they lose. And why does their opponent score 36 to their 35 so consistently? Let's ask ourselves that question. I'll tell you why. Because while the Bengals had the 29th ranked rushing offense last year, they also had the 32nd, that's right, the dead last ranked rushing defense last year, allowing 147.1 yards per game. So, for a team that's more stable than the Ravens, according to Mina Kimes, wait a minute, why can't they run the ball? And why can't they stop the run? How are they a stable team whose floor is just so high? I get it. I mean, you went out, you got Dexter Lawrence. Bravo. Great move. Great move. And according to everything you had out of camps right now in Cincinnati, he's looking good. Sexy Dexy is looking good. He's looking ready to go. I get it. You got Jonathan Allen on the D-line. Now you got Boye Mafe in the secondary. I mean, listen. I feel like there's a negligence going on around the Ravens right now. I don't think it's crazy to say that national media should be just as anticipatory of an amazing Ravens season as fans are. Because if you think about it, the Ravens have very few voids on this roster. Very few. You can make an argument, and I'm sure AB would make this argument. The Ravens don't have enough receivers. Okay, cool, fine. I'll concede that point. But throwing the football is not the signature of this offense to begin with. It's not. Okay, so again, running the ball, stopping the run, that's what creates a stable team. That's what we see wins the Super Bowl every single year. So like I said before, I don't understand how Mina Kimes would say something like this. Void says the only voids are center and wide receivers 2 through 4. Yeah, you could arguably say weak side linebacker, something like that. Arguably. But yeah, I mean, yeah, center and wide receivers 2 through 4 on a run first team. It's not bad. Every team is going to have positions where maybe this is not the strongest position, right? It's just not, that's not how this league works. Unless maybe you're the Rams, right? Unless maybe you're the Rams. Tanja Bowman says, Lamar did not have a problem with Dexter Lawrence when he was on the Giants with Abdul Carter, Thibodeau, and Brian Burns. Yeah, I mean, Lamar, he'll make anybody look silly. He'll make anybody look average. I mean, there's so many top-tier defenders that Lamar Jackson has made average at times. Myles Garrett, TJ Watt, Fred Warner. Right, I can go on and on. Lamar, yeah. When he's on, none of these dudes are hanging with him. None of them. Okay. Tanja also says they're jumping on the Bengals train because Joe is talking about he's winning the Super Bowl. He better show up. All that talking he did, media jumping on that they have no pass rushers. Yeah, the media, I mean, the Bengals have always been media darlings ever since Burrow got there. And rightfully so. I mean, I won't say rightfully so, but Joe Burrow's a damn good quarterback. Have the Bengals been ass in recent years? Have they missed the playoffs in like, what, 3-4 years? Yes. But as long as they have Joe Burrow, I'll put it like this. As long as your team has an offense that can put butts in seats and create highlights, the media will love you. Because then they have more to cover. Right? They have more to cover. It's great. Like, offense is everything in the sport. So when you have Joe Burrow throwing to Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, right? That creates excitement. That creates buzz. And that's great for national media to make content out of. Them just the facts, y'all. Again, them just the facts. So that's why everybody, jumps on the train. Because, again, offense, everybody falls in love with. Everyone adores. Everyone loves offense. Everyone loves offense. D Banks says, Sutton, none of this changes the fact that Bateman's ass. D Banks, in the book you go. In the Bait Hate book you go, sir. I don't know if you were already in there. I got to put you down twice. Let me see. D Banks, 7967. You're not in there, but you're going in there now. D Banks, 7967. All right, Bait Hate book. It's growing real large, y'all. Lots of names. I got my chicken scratch handwriting, but if you see your name on there, you need to stay on that side when Bateman's out there cooking dudes this year. That's all I know. Mina Kimes need to stay on that side too. Okay. D Bank says, what is a Bait Hate book? Listen, man, I'm just keeping receipts. Brother. That's all. Wrote your username down, so when the season comes and I see you in the live chat, I'm going to be asking you what happened. He's asked, right? I'm going to be asking you what happened, D Banks. Thank you for coming through as always, though. Please be sure y'all like the video. Subscribe to the channel as well. For sure. Says make or break for Zay, though. SMH. Y'all are funny. It is. I mean, are we not holding Zay Flowers to a higher standard than Rashad Bateman? Because, again, the guy gets a third of the targets. I think it should be a make or break year for him, especially going into a year where he's going to want a big contract extension after this year. Bateman don't be asking for nothing. See, that's where y'all got Bate messed up. He don't ask for nothing. He on his third contract, still hasn't gotten paid big time money. He be chilling. And he's going to give us a great value this year on his contract. He's going to give us a great value. Promise you. Put my name in bold and circle it. That's funny. LOL Fins K says Baltimore's receiving core does not scare anyone outside of Flowers. And that's all fun and games. Until teams start seeing how the Ravens move in the red zone. When they come out there with Zay Flowers lined up with Rashad Bateman and Jacoby Lane or Elijah Surratt. And it changes the math of your defense because now you have multiple mismatches because you got two big body receivers on the field that Lamar Jackson can throw to, plus a tight end. It just creates so many options. It creates so many options for Lamar. And hell, that might even open up Zay. If they give him some routes down the field, like when we're at the 20-yard line and we're in the red zone, I want to see Zay Flowers run some routes into the end zone. Excuse me. I want to see him get vertical into the end zone. I don't need to see these screens when we're on the 18 or on the 15-yard line. Or wide receiver screen to Zay Flowers. I don't need to see the bubbles. I don't need to see none of that. No, get Zay Flowers downfield. Get him in the end zone. Lamar will get him the ball. His route running is more than good enough to find a soft spot in the zone against a red zone defense. I need to see it happen. I need to see it happen. But again, you'll see. Ben's K, when the season comes around, people are going to put a whole lot more respect. A whole lot more respect on the Ravens wide receiving core. Sudden better hope Bateman doesn't end up on the practice squad. Tila, that's so disrespectful. That's so disrespectful. Practice squad is nuts. Okay, that's crazy. Yeah, no, I still think that Rashad Bateman finishes the season with more touchdowns than Zay Flowers. I do. Cozy ISO says, to you, Bateman's better, so hold him to that standard. Man, you guys are funny. Again, guys, like the video. If you are new here, also please consider subscribing. D-Bank says, how many yards you think he gets, Bateman? I'd say probably probably about like 700. He'll touch about 700 yards. Because I think he'll be a deep threat at times. That'll give him some good chunk of yardage. But again, most of the time, like getting down the field, you're going to see a lot of running with Derrick Henry. You know, wide zone concepts, getting the defense flowing one way or another, and then hitting with play action. Lamar Jackson then going deep to maybe a Rashad Bateman or Jacoby Lane or whoever's uncovered because they're super terrified about what Zay Flowers or Mark Andrews is doing. That's what I think the offense will be. I just need touchdowns. I just need somebody who's going to get the offense off the field. Okay? $500 yards, 3 TDs, Void. Come on now. I'm going 700 yards, 9 touchdowns. 700 yards, 9 touchdowns. Rashad Bateman, book it. And I hope somebody clips this up too. Even though I would never see this clip again if Rashad Bateman does end up performing. All right. But listen, guys, I have to dip out of here. It's been a great episode here of Quiet Storm Sports. Again, my name is Sutton Def. If you were not already aware, you are listening to the Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel. Appreciate each and every one of y'all for coming through. Please be sure to leave a like on this video. Also subscribe if you are new. Consider joining our channel membership for all sorts of perks. And again, make sure you catch us over on the Ravens Roundup, live chat and replay gang. Catch us on the Ravens Roundup here in just a few minutes. I'll be live with Coach from Sip to Tally Films and Jose from LBHT. All right. Love you guys. Appreciate y'all as always. And I'll see you in the next video. Peace.